So somebody sent me a short letter, and I want to just do it the way I normally do and answer it this way, because I don't have a keyboard next to me, and I really prefer the voice. I think it's just way more revealing. If we could do it over penmanship, oh man, that'd be incredible too. But the computer digitizes everything, and so much is lost in translation. And the reason I started this way is to say that quasi-luminous. I make no comment on the dude. I never met him, but I always ask myself, do I enjoy the sound of that person's voice? That's, for me, more important than just almost anything. A person's smell is very important, but we won't get in that here. You can't really do that over audio. And I do have this idea about, I don't know, could I sit down and drink with someone? Could I do drugs with someone? Could I do, like, you know, a lot of people have different staples, or could you go to the forest and do 3 grams of psilocybin? Could you have an acid trip? Could you do, and for me, I think it's just the most run-of-the-mill basic Americana, and it's not even Americana, it's just real world. Sit down and not just have a beer. I'm not like hang out and have a beer with somebody. If we're gonna sit down, we're gonna drink, and I think that's very vital. And I wonder about people. Could I sit down and drink with them? The kind of people I can drink with, that's very important to me. I mean, equally as much, could I sit and just be in complete silence with someone? That's another very important thing. So to answer these questions here, the quasi-luminous, I've made videos earlier in my days on magic, and I think that a lot of people are involved in levels of magic that are outside of their level of control. Let's say that somebody that was given the keys to a Maserati, but has never really driven a fast car before. I'd given my brother the keys to a 6-speed Audi TT turbo. It was a rad-ass vehicle. He burned out the clutch. He didn't even know how to drive the thing. He swore he did, but he burned out the clutch. I mean, that's a small idea. But we're talking about like handing somebody the keys to the car to like a Maserati and say, hey, go have at it. And that is kind of what the blood over intent thing is. It really is. It connects on so many levels. Is it needed? No, not at all. It's completely. It's insane to think that you might have to bludgeon or blood yourself. I don't care how small of a pain or whatever. That's exactly where we came from, where we started all of this. Hanging a man on the cross, that idea, like. There's no, it doesn't need to be done, but there is something in, you know, blood brothers. There's something in sweating with someone. There's something in drinking with someone. There's something in being real to yourself. And there's something to do with magic that you can get out of these things. But it's not a necessity. It's not like going to be just, you know, because you have all these people out here. I've dealt with the repercussions on many levels of these things. And I will say right away, I've done blood rituals. I've done sweat rituals. I've done semen rituals. I've done all sorts of different kinds of magical incantations and used all sorts of different types of ways of producing magical ceremonial procedures to you know, have a desired results. There's all sorts of ways. The more focus and intention and energy you put in something, the more result you'll get. So certainly masturbation will cause quite a bit of a, you know, there's quite a bit there. quite a bit. There's quite a bit if you were to spend an hour working out in a gym with one focus on your mind, only to write out some there's energy there, and there's obviously energy in your blood that shouldn't be coming out of you in that facet, unless you really want to break open, you know, a barrier in between one of your shells, which is fine. But you know, this is the thing. You better know what you're doing. Made many videos on this. Let me just jump through some of these things here that you. So your fascination with masonry, and I mean, I think everybody is, and I do wonder how many people are teaching masonry that hate masonry. It's very funny to me. There's a lot of people that are Masonic themselves that teach masonry that actually despise it. And there's people that use it for a bad purpose. There's people that use it. I mean, there's all sorts of avenues to go with how this Freemasonry, Masonic things, Illuminati. There's so many ways to use the same tool. We could even look into how information has been misused over the years. So there's no way of really pointing to and saying, oh, that's bad, that's evil, that's wrong. I'm not suggesting to go join a lodge. That's probably the furthest thing from that I would ever suggest to somebody. Maybe somebody should. Maybe somebody would need that. You know, you could find a real. You could find people that. Let me try it in the most profound way. Some people are so violent and strange, like putting them in the army might be a good idea, because it would teach them some control, self-control. Maybe. I don't believe in the army at all, but I believe in it in the sense that, like, maybe there's some people out here that need to be, like, really, like, instructed and need to be put into their, you know, form and fashion. But in the same way, we have all these larger truths of what this reality is, and what masonry has to do with that, and like how it's built the world and in such ways, and how have the best and worst things come from masonry? Maybe, I don't know. Have the best and worst things come from people? Absolutely. Have the best and worst things come from gods? Sure. So where you need to go with this is just needs to be self-satisfying, that allows you to not to be satisfied in the way of, like, if you eat a big steak, you know what, you're satisfied for the minute, but you know that there's no reason to do that. You feel bad after, not only physically, but like emotionally. And that kind of goes into your next thought here about eating meat. And I'm not saying you shouldn't, but to call something satanic is only to deal with the ritualistic purposes of this this figment world that we live in. This is only an artifact. This is a shadow world of your mind. There's nothing really necessarily evil about even, I'd go so far as to say, the butchering and slaughtering and murdering of animals. Well, obviously, there's something that doesn't sit quite right with humans, but then again, we have a lot of humans that do it. So what happened there? What was the trade-in? How did their mind find that acceptable as an acceptable thing? Now, I can't answer all those questions for you, but for where you're going with this, and what I'd like to convey to you. Let's see, the Enoch, the Kabbalion, let's see, Whitney Strieber, Tronvalo, Carlos Castaneda, Edgar Casey, Aleister Crowley, and the Bible. The Bible is not a tool of misinformation. It's been used to misinform. There's a whole litany of great things in the Bible, but it's just like when you give somebody any tool and they don't know what it's saying, and when somebody says it's saying something it's not, we're left confounded. We're left in a position of not knowing really truly what it meant as allegory, as something else. So how can you help yourself to define your path? Well, sit down and write it out, maybe, or take a sniff, or what do you really want? You know, I'm not trying to sell you the law of attraction, because I think that's a little bit slim-minded. I don't think people really know what's going on there, because that's not the only thing that's happening. But what is it? You know, do you have a desire in the world? I mean, oh, I want the world to be paradise, and I want all the animals not to feel pain, and like, yeah, I mean, yeah, don't we all feel that way, right? But can you fix that? Like, start at a smaller point. Start at something small, a smaller task in your mind that you can accomplish and fulfill for yourself, that gives you a feeling of worth and reward. You felt like whatever it is that, you know, you were supposed to come here for, that you were able to accomplish. Like those types of things. There's these books and all this money that you're spending on these books. That's great, man. But at the same time, like, how do they sit with you? How do they feel? And getting back to the original thought I had, when you're listening to people, and it's hard to do with books because books can be altered, and books are always written from, you know, one place, but someone's voice is very, there's keys to it. This is harmony. You can unlock neurological pathways just with the sound of someone's voice, and you can also tell whether or not they're telling you something that's of value. I'm not even going to say they're truthful or lying, because that's irrelevant, because sometimes you can find a lot of truth in lies. But it's just there should be some sort of something that makes it goes, oh, that registers right there. There it is. That's exactly what it is. You know, it's like sight will often fool you. Smell never will, and sound often doesn't. Smell is super important. I'll do more videos on smell later, but hopefully this answered some of your questions, man. And if you don't like the fact that I put this up here, I'll happily take it down. I didn't put your name on here, but you know who you are. There's where I'm sitting right now, so I just took a picture just to kind of stamp my self on it and let you know what's up. So have a good day, everybody, and hopefully this answered a few things for you. Cheers.